Good evening, welcome. I'm Melissa, and today's video is going to be a little bit of a planty update. I figured this would be a good video to do for the end of the year so I could have like an update on everyone and going into the new year. So I'm excited to just show you how everyone's doing, whether it was a recent repot that I've done or if something hasn't turned out well, if there's anyone struggling. So I hope you enjoy, and we're gonna get started here in our plant room first. Here in my plant room, I like to start with my moss poles, and I did just recently do a moss pole care maintenance video, so I will link that. It was just a couple of videos for this one if you haven't seen it. I spent like 3 days doing a ton of chops, a ton of extensions. Even though we are in the off season, I'm having a ton of new growth. It's because I give so much like additional grow lights. You can see I have overhead lights, I have lights up in front, and it's pretty warm in here even in winter. So my plants continually grow all year long. So I'm feeding them and still like giving them the best care that I would over summertime. Marble Queen is pushing a new leaf here. It's sizing up again, so I am going to be adding an extension onto there soon. And the node down here that I chopped, that was the bottom portion of her pole, is actually pushing some new growth finally, and they look like half moon leaves, which are so beautiful. So I'm very excited for that one to climb along with her and size up. I feel like it's going to be some time though, but I love that it finally pushed new growth. I love Miss Marble Queen. I did move Just Sienna here beside her. Look at how beautiful. And this vine up here is pretty huge. This is a new leaf it's working on right here. So two vines are kind of climbing side by side. And I actually discovered, oh, I don't know where it's at. Down here, there's actually a third vine climbing right there, which I didn't realize. So yeah, this plant is gorgeous. And like being right next to the Marble Queen, can you see the color difference? It's so beautiful, the yellow. So some of her like top leaves here are getting to be the size of some of these ones, which I'm super excited. All the bottom is still the original growth, and I'm gonna be extending this one probably like a good foot or two before I go to chop this one. I recently chopped my Enjoy, so I just did that one and moved all the growth back down to the bottom. And I just extended my Golden Pothos, and it's pushing some new leaves here. That is really starting to climb now that it's like situated and been like on a pole for a few months. That is going to take off by, I feel like by like summer, it's going to be growing and sizing up so well. I recently chopped Cebu Blue. This is the newest leaf here. Look at all those fenestrations. So I just chopped this one for the very first time, and probably the new growth is probably going to be a little bit affected just because I did chop away the base. I have a growth over here. Oh, it's down here further since I chopped it. Down there on that side, there's like a new growth or a separate vine. So yeah, hopefully this plant doesn't shock too much. It was really losing a lot of nutrients. I feel like I kept underwatering it because it was so thirsty. It would literally drink up the entire water within the soil and the pole within like a day, and all the leaves would droop. You could tell it was just like severely underwatered. So yeah, I'm crossing my fingers that it does well post-chop and that it actually appreciates not having so much growth to maintain, I guess. Esqueleto is another chop that we just did. Look at these leaves. They are humongous, especially that one. So yeah, I just chopped the base off of her. So she is just one vine. This is all the top growth, and I have all the bottom cuts propagating currently. So super excited with that one. And then Glorious right beside the Esqueleto was another chop that I did. This was the first chop, so I'm a little nervous on how it's going to do because 3 nodes weren't rooted because they were off the pole. So I don't know if that one's going to shock. I'm hoping it does okay, but so far it seems to be doing okay. It's only been like, I think 3 days. So we'll see in some time. And then I also chopped Philodendron verrucosum. Look at that. I'm starting to like twist the petioles because this one has such long internodal spacing to help shorten it. So this is a new leaf here that it's pushing out. I didn't realize that was pushing out when I went to chop it, so I hope it's not affected too much. And then the other vine is on that side. So I have 2 vines climbing on that one. I chopped Splendid here recently, as well as my huge monstera adansonii. It is humongous. This one is pushing a new leaf. I am very excited to see how well that one's gonna size up. And this leaf, you guys, is absolutely incredible. It is insane how large this plant is getting. And they're doing so well. Splendid's actually gonna push a new leaf soon, I can tell. I just extended my Syngonium albo, and then my Epipanatum albo, I'm waiting for it to climb a bit more before I chop this one. This one hasn't been chopped yet. I had to like shove it back there, but I have lots of little growth on the bottom. And then my micans, I'm just kind of like wrapping the vines back down, you can see, and I'm really going to fill out this pole, but I don't plan on like chopping or extending this one anytime soon at all. And then here in front, my Monstera dubia I completely chopped. It was flying off the pole, so I'm very curious to see how that one's gonna do. And over here is my Sorderoy and Majestic, both of which I'm gonna have to extend very soon. This one is 2 vines. I have a new leaf coming in here. And my Sorderoy, I feel like it's gonna push a new leaf again soon. This one is climbing very quickly. I feel like I'm getting a new leaf like every, I don't know, every 3 or 4 weeks. Majestic wasn't on the pole that long before it started sizing up. And obviously I think the liquid fertilizer is helping, but it is climbing. I can already tell it's climbing and pushing growth faster than the Sorderoy. So that is kind of it with my moss poles here. Again, I didn't want to go into too many details just because I recently like chopped and talked about them a bunch. Now this alocasia regal shields, I am going to take out of soil and do in pond. I just haven't done that yet. It's been in soil for a while and it hasn't really been happy. It dealt with like spider mites and fungal issues. So I'm going to completely like start over with that plant, just salvage what I can, put it in water, and then I'm gonna transition it to pond. And I have another alocasia, my Capria over there that I'm gonna do the same thing with. I'm gonna put that one into pond. As far as all my variegated monsteras, they're all doing very well. My Monstera aria pushed a new leaf here since being repotted, and it has gorgeous variegation. It's still kind of hardening a bit. It's a little bit smaller, but that's kind of to be expected. It's really like the first leaf that it gave me. This is the one that had that massive root system. And my Tycon here gave me this beautiful leaf. It is gorgeous. This is my main one here that wants to crawl. And then I have another one up here. I need to repot this one like ASAP. It dries out and gets very thirsty. It's like, oh, it's severely, look at that, it's severely root bound. So I need to do that like soon. The Monstera deliciosa albo variegata, all of my albos over here, the one that's in pond seems to be doing well. It hasn't like pushed new growth or anything, but it seems very happy. Like the leaves seem nice and perky, and it seems like it loves being in semi-hydro, so far that one is doing well. I have a few that I moved to soil. This one here was a mid-cut propagation, the original leaf, and this one here is like my OG one. It had a lot of white, and this is a new leaf here it gave me, so I'm happy to see that it has more green. But that one is doing well. I have another cut there in soil in front. And then I have more like albo props here that I'm not keeping. I have like 3 more in, or I have 2 in soil, and I have 1 that's in moss because it gave me an all white leaf, but I am gonna sell that one because it is pushing a new leaf here and it looks to be green. That was like a half moon, so I'll eventually get rid of that one. And my Monstera Mint, look at her. I recently upsized her too, so she's in a 4-inch from that little tiny pot, and you can see the new leaf she gave me. And then all the new growth down here from all these like nodes that activated, they're very like white, So I'm not sure what's actually going to survive from this being like a tissue culture. This can happen where it has all these growths that start to activate. So yeah, I'm not sure about that. It's just very white, but I'm happy the main vine seems to be doing really well. So excited for this one for the coming year. And then what else do I have in the window? That Ficus shruberiana is a plug. I'm going to repot that with my other one in the dining room come spring. My dolphins is a goner. It had mealybugs, you can see, and the whole thing is like rotting. I see a couple green strands, but I feel like, yeah, it just didn't do well. So fortunately, I am going to be on the hunt for more dolphins. And then I have a Hoya australis lisa there that I neglect. I don't even really pay any attention to that one. It loves being in the window, getting that light. I feel like it really appreciates it. And it's grown a lot from when I first had it. I feel like it gives me a lot of yellowing sometimes, but since it's in the window getting more light, it definitely is a lot happier. I have a couple Hoyas over here. I have this one that is very squished. It's not a carrii, even though it has like some heart-shaped leaves. It's my obovata. Look at the size of that circle. It's a huge leaf. It did bloom for me. Here's the peduncle. And then I am going to be propagating up my Hoya sunrise. It's just taken over. I have so many vines that keep flying off the trellis and it needs a haircut majorly. And this one too is like growing a bunch of crazy vines. All the light from the window. My Palea is very sad. I think I missed a watering. No, it still seems kind of moist. I think it's not happy with the root system. So I think what I'm going to do is propagate this up for like a short form video or something. I'm going to get rid of the root system and just start over with this plant. I tried to save it, but I don't know. It just seems very unhappy. So I don't know. I'm going to have to rehab that one, which is sad. And oh, here's another albo. This is one that I did in pond because I wasn't sure what all these leaves are going to do. This is the one that's like all white. You can see another all white leaf is coming here. And another all white leaf is coming here. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems really happy in pond. You can see how perky the leaves are. I don't know if you can tell. I don't expect any of this to live, but who knows? It might give me some green down the road. I feel like the hearts is growing a ton. It's like all the way to the floor now. And I feel like this growth is really happy. I don't know if it's the switch from a liquid fertilizer, but super, super happy. I combined both of my variegated and regular. All of my pearls are growing back from rot. My regular one and then my variegated one is growing back a ton. It's amazing how much of a comeback the pearls are making. Turtles is doing well. That Hoya lacunosa blooms constantly. It always smells like lacunosa in here. It's so funny. And I do want to repot that Hoya because it's getting a little crazy with that trellis and it hasn't been repotted in a while, probably like a year and a half. So I do need to do that one soon. There is a Hoya that's missing and that's because I moved it over here on my cabinet. And the reason I moved my Polynura is because it bloomed. Let's see if it'll pick up. Do you see all the clear fluid? That is all sugary sap. And so if I left that in my window, the ants would have been attracted to this and started coming in because that's what happened with my Hoya retusa and how I got ants in my turtle pot. So there's a bloom over here. So I'm basically waiting for the blooms to fall. I have another one here that hasn't opened. I really want this one back in the window, but if it's gonna have sap, I definitely can't keep it in my window, which is sad because it's not really getting enough light up here. So we'll see what I want to do with this one. I might eventually move this one to like my plant shelf or something over here. This middle shelf is all alocasia minus the, well, I showed you the albo, and then I have an Anthurium magnificum that's in pond that's doing very well. And all of my alocasias are giving me a ton of new growth. These are some recent ones that I did in pon. My heterophylla is coming in a ton. You can see some new growth. So that one's gonna start growing in bigger here soon. This is the Quilted Dreams. That's giving me a ton of new leaves. The Maharani is as well. Especially this like poly. This one was like down to nothing. And I have all this new growth coming in. I can tell like out of all these alocasias here, the poly is definitely responding very well to being in pon for sure. And the dragon scale seems to be doing very well as the silver dragon and the black velvet. They're all just loving pon. They just all seem to love being semi-hydro. I do need to check several of these and probably get them into bigger containers here. I'm trying to get into a good habit of actually checking the reservoir. Oh, that's a yellow leaf. We're gonna pull that one off to make sure that they're not getting too overgrown. I do have some that I need to upsize. And I need to repot that Maranta big time. That one is so root bound. That Maranta is in pon and it loves it. My Calathea micholitziana is doing well. My Stromanthe is growing back, which I'm very thankful for. I had to start this one over. I still have a lot of crisping with it, but I'm getting a lot of new growth coming in. I wasn't sure what happened with this Stromanthe. I didn't know I think it had a fungal issue is what was going on with it. And I treated it, I repotted it and everything, and I think it shocked initially. I thought I was gonna lose it, and then it started growing again as of lately. So very excited to see all the new growth coming in. And this is my variegated Maranta. What's funny with my Maranta is I have one strand here growing extremely variegated and gorgeous. Look at that. And I have a lot of the growth coming in reverted here. And then I have some more like variegation on this side that's coming in. But a lot of it is all green. So I might cut the all green part away because I really want this to be a full pot of variegated Maranta. I wished it was all like this because this is gorgeous. But nonetheless, it is beautiful. I'm just happy it's growing back, period. I probably should look into upsizing that one too because I feel like they definitely could use the extra room to grow. You guys know I recently moved my alocasias over here. I did move this one closer to shine on them, which my variegated ones appreciated. But this is kind of in the dark over here, and the grow light that's up ahead is too far away to really have any benefit. So I feel like this one is definitely going to need some more light. This is its 9th leaf it's pushing. I am worried they aren't getting enough light to be able to hold on to all these leaves, so I probably will definitely get something else. And then the variegated one shocked initially. I had to cut some leaves away and some had some like yellowing on them, but it seems to have stabilized. I've gotten some new leaves recently on both of them. So I think the extra light definitely helped them transition from being out of my cabinet because I was worried that I upset them. But crossing my fingers, they continue to do okay. I just have to look into what kind of lighting situation I want to do. I was thinking about maybe putting a strip light under here, like securing it on, and I could reroute the plug. I have an extra outlet down there. I could like do the cord with that one and put it here, but I'm wondering if that's still going to be too far away. I'm thinking about getting a lamp. I'm thinking that will probably be best, and I can shove it back in the corner and have it shine this way. This anthurium is doing very well. This is my Podato radiatum. I moved it over here back in that corner. And my Magnificum, I'm worried it's not doing that well. What I ended up doing was cutting all the leaves away. It had some like weird browning. I don't know if it's fungal or what. And the inflow is yellowing that I had pollinated. I kind of just like propagated it in here. It didn't really have any roots. So I don't know how it's going to do. I hope I don't lose it because that's my parent anthurium that I took all of my babies from. They're all here in my cabinet. I have 3 that I took from her that I'm keeping, and I still have all these babies that I need to like separate out and get rid of. I don't know how she's gonna do. I'm hoping she does okay or transitions okay. In this corner, I have lots of Syndapsis here. I recently propagated my jade satin in a video. Like I cut ends off of all of them. This thing was like all the way down to the floor. It was so long. But I love the jade satin, and the variegated one is here. I got this one as an import, and it's slowly pushing its growth point. It's just taking a very long time. So the other cuts of that are in my other room that I'll show you, but that one is very slow. I have a silver platinum one down there, and then I am going to be propagating probably my exotica, and then I have a Silvery Ann and Argyraeus here. And you can see some of these leaves on the bottom. Oh, that's the exotica. But it's growing in a ton. They're both growing in a ton. I kind of have them wrapped. They're all kind of entangled, but yeah, they're doing so well. I recently propagated my linearis, and I have some props here in stratum. I felt like I wanted to get rid of a couple cuttings of this because I hear it's really hard to find. So I wanted to be able to have a couple plants of this. I have that Micans prop is doing well. I trimmed my Curtisii there, and then my lemon lime philodendron. They're all doing well here. So as far as my cabinet goes, I have a ton of props everywhere. You may notice here, these are all props from my moss poles. I have Glorious, Cebu Blue, I have Esqueleto, and I have a farm of Cebu Blue up here as well. There's so many. Those are my air plants I have to put back. I don't really have any room for them, so I just kind of have them here and those there for now. And then up top, my Maranta that's in water, this red Maranta, I need to pot up. And then the rest of these, I have a crystallinum. I cut my crystallinum because it wasn't doing well, so it's just in water. And when it grows some roots in that are healthy, I'm gonna put it into pond. I had it in soil, and I think the root system was just not healthy with it. And then the rest of these are the alocasia that I did a while ago. They're still in water. They've been in water for like a month. I'm gonna be putting these in pond, but I just haven't had the time to do that yet. But like this azulani is putting out a ton of new leaves in pond. I think it's put out 3 leaves. It's put out 3 leaves and a bloom in water. So yeah, that is definitely ready to go into pond. All right, my cabinet. What is going on in here? It is so gross. I need to like completely wipe my cabinet down. I don't really want to. I don't know if you can see, but there's like dead mites everywhere. Dead like predatory mites. It is time. I want to like redo my cabinet and rearrange it and just clean. It definitely needs a good clean out. It's sort of serving as like a propagation station in a way. I have just extra plants shoved in here. It's not really set up as a display, and I kind of want it set up more as a display instead of like a propagation house. So yeah, I'm definitely going to do that next year and kind of just rearrange it and make it look pretty again. I have a Friedican soil here. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with. I have my Gloriosum that's in stratum that I'm putting into pond. I have a new leaf here on that one, and I have a new leaf here on that one. But I also have my Gloriosum in soil down here. So I'm not sure out of these 3 which ones I want to keep as like my plant and put into pond, but I just want my Gloriosum in pond. And I split this chunk into 2, so I have like new growth coming in on both of them. I moved my queen in here, and it seems to really like it. Ugh, there's mites all over this plant. I actually have an inflow here. It's the first inflow. I don't know if I have anything that I can pollinate her with. So yeah, I don't know. This is the Esmeralda. So if you know if anything can cross with the queen Esmeralda, let me know, because I would love to pollinate this plant. I'm definitely going to save the pollen. And my melanochrysum that I put into pond, it really hasn't done too much. There we go. And it has like a new leaf coming out here. That's a new leaf. And then I have a new leaf coming here on this one. And yeah, it's just kind of like there. The moss pole is getting a little bit moldy, I think, just from maybe just lack of air circulation up here, because I technically don't have a fan on this first layer. So I actually might move that one down here so that it's closer to more air circulation. But ever since I did that, it's kind of been stagnant. It really hasn't done too much yet. I recently put this anthurium into pond. This was one of the imports, and some of it is like rotting and not happy in here. The growth, you can see it's like limp and yellow. And some of it is happy, some of the growth. So I'm not sure. It had like a decent root system in perlite, but since the transition to pond, I don't know if it's that happy. So I don't know, that one's a little bit of a sad plant right now. I recently updated on my new plants that I got from the Green Escape. I just did an unboxing with these two and gave like a full update, but they're all doing well. I have 2 Hoya. I now have 2 variegated alocasia, the pink poly and the mint, and then I have 2 alocasia Watsonia. I cannot pronounce that. I have the white vein and then the dark form. Oh, and this is a happy update. This is my platinum, and I have like a new growth coming in here, and I have some healthy roots coming in. This has been like a rehab for so long. I was really excited to get this plant, and it just started not doing well and it started rotting. So I'm very happy that I actually have new growth coming in, because I was super excited to get this one. This is a crawler, I believe, too. And then my clary is doing well in here. It's kind of squished. To be honest, I would love to get my clarinervium out of the cabinet. And I did cross the inflow again with my potato radiatum here. So that was a successful pollination. I probably just won't have any berries for like a year or 10 months. And I have another inflow here that's coming in. So my little seedlings down here, I have 3. They have done like the best out of all of them. And I think it's because these are so squished. I'm getting some yellowing just from like watering inconsistencies and drying out. So I am going to be separating these out into their individual containers soon, so that I can at least salvage what I can that's like healthy and growing, so I can look at getting rid of them, because them being squished in this little section is not doing them anything good. It's doing them a disservice. I have some alocasia Friedic variegated here. I have one corm that's actually growing all green, which is interesting. And then I have some that have some little baby cute leaves. This is some alocasia. I think this is a random one that I did. I don't know exactly what all the corms are. And then my variegated micans is here. It's kind of working on its root system. I did this recently in my import video. I have some tissue cultures back there that I don't really want to share yet, because I haven't done like the update on them, or I haven't done a video on them. And these are my other anthurium seedlings here from my potato radiatum and clarinervium. So everything in my cabinet seems to be doing okay. It's just very squished in here. So looking forward to getting a lot of these props into the other bedroom once I get my other shelf, so that I can clear out the space. Like these are gonna go in there, those props, and I'm gonna clean out the props in my cabinet and get them all put in the other bedroom. That shelf is completely jam-packed, and I need to get a second one. This shelf is a little bit crammed too. I have some moss poles that I didn't get to extend. So like my variegated heartleaf up there, I need to extend, as well as my monstera obliqua. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with my silver stripe back there. I had talked about it kind of reverting to all green the more it climbs. So I think I might end up taking that one off, although I'm not sure yet. And I need to extend my amidrium and my white knight as well. Look at that beautiful white leaf. This was the newest leaf here. Isn't that beautiful? And I'm probably gonna get a leaf soon. Mandula is coming in very beautiful. I probably need to extend that soon. Florida Ghost is beautiful as well. This is the newest leaf here. So pretty. I love this plant. My Ring of Fire, I have been loving a lot lately too. Look at that leaf. It is so beautiful. Let me take it down. I am so happy that I got this plant. I'm so in love with it. I never really thought I liked this plant or wanted this plant. I did initially, and then I'm like, oh, I don't need it. It's one that I'm not gonna ever get or ever love. But now that I have it, I really, really love it. And then I have some pink princesses here. That one, and then that one back there is in soil. I haven't decided if I want to put any more into pond. I have my original one back here that's in my aeroid mix. And then I put this propagation into pond because I was curious how Pink Princess would do in pond. And to me, I think it looks really happy and perky. This was one of my propagations off of my mother plant, her there. So I might eventually transfer them all to pond and then maybe like pot them up together or something. I'm not sure, but it just seems really happy in pond. And sometimes I struggle with Pink Princess in soil. I feel like they just don't do well, or I end up like being inconsistent with the watering and they either get root rot or something else. So I don't know. I might move this one to pond too. Look at my Epi Marble. It is climbing away. I need to probably extend this one soon, and it's pretty root bound too, so I definitely need to do something with this one soon. That is on my moss pole to-do list. This is one of the imports that I moved to soil. It hasn't really done too much yet, but the new growth is still kind of stuck in there. I have a Monstera Peru prop back there. And then the Variegated Peru was the import. I have it in pond and it seems to be doing well in pond. It seems to be happy. I don't feel like it's shocked any. And the alocasia that I moved to pond, these two little ones, this is the Mickey Mouse that I got from the Green Escape as well. These are the two new leaves it gave me in pond. And then I have this one over here that's starting to grow in. But they all seem to really love pond, especially this Mickey Mouse. I'm very happy that I decided to move those. And my tortum, you guys, my tortum is growing in a ton. That newest leaf is definitely a lot bigger. Compared to like when I got it as the import, it's growing in so well. My variegated micans, I took several cuttings to sell, so this is like all that's left in my main plant. I do have some reverted props growing, but this one definitely needs to grow back because it's very bare now. My tissue cultures too there are doing well, and then I have this huge Florida Beauty in front here that I have no idea what to do with. This is the newest leaf and it's just like all the way over here. I don't know. This plant stresses me out because it's so wide and so big, and I don't really have a spot for it. So, although I really love this plant, it's just the really long petioles I'm not much of a fan of, but I don't know. I still really like it. I feel like maybe a fresh repot, and maybe if I can move the vines in the same direction, maybe it will look better instead of like growing up, and like maybe I can add a forward light or move it to forward light so the leaves can kind of turn downward. So yeah, we'll see what I end up doing with that one. And this last shelf over here, the top shelf, I have my huge philodendron El Choco Red, which has been growing a ton in pond. I have that leaf here, which was pretty new. And then the newest leaf is actually facing, oh, let me move it, facing, it's very crammed in here. This is the, oh no, wait, this is the newest leaf here. This one, and it's huge. Very happy being in pond. And then I have my serpents here. It just gave me this leaf, it unfurled, and it's definitely growing up to the grow light. So I do want to move this one so that it can face more forward. And then I have my alocasia Jacqueline back here too. It's definitely slow to push new growth. It's a little bit stagnant, so I hope it's doing okay. This leaf is yellowing a bit, which is interesting. Why is that yellowing? Why are you yellowing? You weren't yellowing the other day. I I don't know, maybe it's lacking nutrients. I might need to start fertilizing this one. I'm gonna have to look into that. Do you guys remember my forgetti? When I had repotted it, I snapped the leaf. So that little leaf is currently this one. I'll probably have a new leaf come in on it soon. But yeah, that's where I cut the original leaf off because I accidentally snapped it, I think. But this leaf here kind of grew in nice. And then this is the hybrid that I got from Jonah. It's doing so well in pond. It's growing up a ton. You can see all the roots and everything there. So I need to get like an extender and do what I did with my queen so that it can be supported. And the last little bit here, my huge philodendron burl marks variegated, I have shoved in this corner. It's done a lot of reverting growth, but it still pushes a ton of variegation. I'm eventually going to propagate this plant, but it doesn't get a ton of light here, and it's always a spider mite magnet, so I just shoved it back there for now. I'll probably deal with him in the spring. Like I said, this Caprea I'm going to do in pond, and then this Rhaphidophora tetrasperma is climbing on the wall. It's like rooted on the wall now. Do you see that aerial root? And there's another one back there. It's so funny. So eventually I'm gonna like probably, I don't know if I should let him I thought about switching spots and adding this one on the floor here and letting it climb up this wall in the back. I thought that would be pretty cool actually. So I might do that once I propagate this one. And this Hoya here finally pushed some growth. This is the import one. I actually just now saw this leaf for the first time. It wasn't doing anything. So that's cool that it's actually growing now. This is this the undulata red? No, this is the macrophylla red. My light veins maranta took a while to come back from flat mites. It's still not the happiest here. So I'm just kind of keeping it right here for now. It gave me like one pretty leaf, and this is a new one that doesn't still seem the happiest. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do with that guy to get him happy and growing. The black one is still kind of like iffy. Like it was giving me some pretty leaves, and then I have a lot of like crisping on this one too. So yeah, I don't know why I'm getting so much unhappy growth from these two plants. It's still pushing a lot of growth. It's just a lot of it is unhappy. That Hoya back there hasn't done anything, not cutting. And then I have a Hoya carrii back there growing a ton. And this one, import one, hasn't really done anything since I got it. So it's just chilling there. So that is my plant room. My memory card has 26 minutes left. So I'm gonna quickly show you my other areas in like the next 15 minutes, and then we'll get to wrapping up this little update. I'm just going to quickly show you in here. This is kind of like chaos right now until I get my other shelf. I have a perlite prop bin there with some plants. I have some props down here. I have to keep this covered on the bottom because of the cats. And then I have more props. These are like moss pole props. I have varicosum, jade satin syngonium, global green, my silver sword I chopped up, my Burlmerk's variegated. I have my pearls and jade. I have so many props. Ton more props here. Variegated, Mican's halo. These are the reverted strands. They haven't really done that much. I have some splendid epi elbow here. I have like a tray of random props there. I have some alocasia heterophylla there. I need some like major TLC to this area. And then I have more props up here. I have some monstera dubia that I need to fix. Lots more seedlings here. I have more Hoya props from my imports. I have some here. I have a medrium props, my jade satin prop, my variegated one there. I have more Jessiana props, Syngonium prop. And the funny thing is too, let me show you this. So let me move this guy for a minute. Oh, my mamie I need to get potted into pond too, my mommy. So my variegated adansonii that I chopped, I have 3 strands that are left now, and all their growth is coming in completely white. Like this cutting here is all white. And this cutting here is all white. And this cutting here is all white. So out of all the new growth, they have all come in all white. And I'm probably just going to be throwing those plants in the trash, because the white leaves just can't sustain themselves. There's no point in keeping them, because they were all like half moon. And I thought the nodes would be on the green part, but no, they're all coming in white. That one has a little sliver of green, but yeah, like I said, they just can't grow with white leaves. So yeah, I'll probably chuck those and say goodbye to my variegated adansonii. I have the aria here from the import, but a lot of it is reverted. Some of it is coming in a little bit variegated, but it's hard to tell. And I have the main vine here in soil that has a node coming in, but I don't know. It seems like this one is reverting, so I feel like I'm not going to have any type of variegated adansonii in my life unless I buy one that has better genetics from the get-go. So I have a ton of props here that I'm housing. It's just very squished and I need to reorganize this. Definitely, I can't wait to get a second shelf in here and just, like I said, just redo this. The pink lights that I put in here is really bothering me. I'm not a fan of the pink anymore. And if I get a new shelf, I don't want pink lights to match this. I'm probably going to get the white lights. So I'm probably going to order 2 sets of the white lights and switch out the pink. And like I said, I'm just going to completely redo this area and have like a nice shelf system going. I actually might get the bigger shelf instead of this one as the same size, because I feel like I'm going to need the room. I might use like the smaller one for some props, and then the bigger one can hold a lot more props and plants and stuff. So that's kind of the plan with this area. My snake plants have been doing well since I did this whole setup. I haven't watered any of these yet, so I might look into watering them soon. This whale fin, you can tell, is a bit soft feeling, so I feel like it's probably wanting water, because I did this probably going on almost 2 months ago. And I actually just watered my monstera the other day that I brought in from the outside. I haven't switched or rotated these yet, so probably sometime after the new year, I'm going to give those a drink and switch their spots. And then I have these two over here that seem to be doing well too. I think I just maybe watered these the other day. These guys don't really get any light once the sun goes down. It's very minimal here, so I'm not expecting like a ton of growth from these. It's just kind of like keeping them by till it's spring again and I can get them outside. Hi, cutie. Hi, cuties. Yeah. What's you doing? You're so cute. Yeah. Yeah. Cutie girl. This corner here, there's a lot of plants over here. Now that it's winter, they don't really get a lot of light. I do have grow lights, but I just turned like my kitchen light on and this light, so it looks brighter, but whenever the sun goes down, it's like very low light. So yeah, they definitely could use a lot more light, but it's okay. It's kind of like holding them over until springtime, like I said, and I can get a majority of like these big plants back outside. My marble queen over here has grown a ton. Do you guys remember when I brought this one in and how sad and pitiful it looked? It's grown so much since coming back inside. It's crazy. This ficus here has put out several new leaves. There's one here and here. And like I said, I might end up propagating this one because the one strand over there got a little bit bare. I only got one leaf that yellowed off and dropped. And I really thought it was going to shock more and drop a ton more leaves, but it hasn't. So I think like having it right up against the window helped. It only gets morning sun up until like probably not even like 11 o'clock. And then it kind of gets to be low light at that point. But I guess it doesn't really seem to mind. I have my other ficus there. I have a ton of monstera Stanleyana albo. Oh, I forgot to show you my monstera Stanleyana albo. So I took it off the moss pole. I don't know if you guys remember, it was 4 feet tall. And these are all cuttings I took off the pole. And my top cut I kept and I planted. I'll have to go and show you that one back in my plant room. The Birds of Paradise is doing well. I've had a couple leaves, look at that beautiful one, since coming inside. They fully unfurled. that one, and that one is very beautiful. And it seems to be doing okay. I gave it water the other day. I actually just watered all these, and I hadn't watered any of my monsteras yet because I felt like the soil was still a little bit, not that it was damp, it's just one of the new leaves came in on one yellow. So I cut it off. It was like black. So it just made me feel like it was just shock from coming back inside. But they still seem like very happy. It's just, I wanted to make sure they were pretty thirsty before I decided to give them any more water. I didn't want them to risk like being overwatered. And ever since I watered them the other day, I can tell that it's more perky again and they're like doing better. So come next year, I'm definitely going to be planting this one outside, the one in front. And then I'm just going to have the two big ones, which I actually might combine into one pot and just have one big giant monstera deliciosa. It'll be like 3 vines, I think, total. So I will probably do that for next year. And then moving along this way, my marble queen is growing a ton. Same with my neon. I need to propagate that one. I have another lemon lime down there. Oh, and this arbifolia is so happy. I've gotten so many new leaves lately. This is the variegated one, although a lot of the new growth I feel like now has like hardly any variegation coming in. It's like very minimal. I don't know if you're gonna be able to tell. Like this one has some right there, but it's not a ton of variegation. This new leaf has some like right there. So yeah, it is variegated, but like I said, it's not like super variegated. And I still haven't repotted that one yet. It's still in the original mix. I moved this anthurium here that I potted up in the import video. My zebra plant is growing a ton. I have my staghorn shoved back there. Everything is so squished. I got this little Thanksgiving cactus from a neighbor, and it wasn't rooted, but I stuck it in soil, so I'm hoping it roots and it does okay, but it's very wrinkly. I don't really have like a Thanksgiving cactus or anything, so I just potted it up and I'm gonna see what it does, but it does look very wrinkly, so I don't know if that's gonna make it. And I have an orchid that I was trying to do a water culture with, but I don't think I want to do that anymore. I think I'm gonna pot that into soil. And I have a chameleon ZZ that's growing in. I had like rehab this. I had like one stalk that was all green that was healthy, and then I buried the rest of the rhizomes under the soil, and so I have 3 new stalks coming in. I have some Monstera aria props up here. These were from the import. This one here pushed a new leaf. It has, I don't even know if that one's variegated, maybe a little bit, it's hard to tell. That one's getting ready to push a new leaf, and that one hasn't done anything yet. So once these grow a bit more, I'm gonna be getting rid of those. And do you guys remember this plant in my bathroom, this geo plant? Ooh. I was going to toss it because the whole thing browned and got crispy, and then it shot a new growth point out. So now I have a new leaf growing in. So it seems like it's still alive and doing okay. So I'm just leaving that guy there. I have this begonia still in water. I need to get a bigger vessel for that one for next year and upsize the pot. I might give it a little haircut. I have this peace lily up here, this platinum, and it gave me its first little bloom, which is so pretty. And these 3 moss poles I kind of neglect because they're not in my plant room. I forgot to water them one week, so my Monstera silvipicana had so much yellowing. You can still see some more yellowing. I felt so bad. I just got so behind with watering the pole. This plant was like so droopy. It was very sad looking, but I gave it some water. I probably should water it again. And it perked up, but I definitely severely underwatered it. This neon, I need to add some more moss in and get that one kind of extended and chopped. And this one here, I'm not gonna keep. I made my decision, I'm not gonna keep the Campo, so I will be probably next year be chopping this one up to get rid of. So that's a little update in this corner. I wanted to come in here and update you on the Hoyas. So I moved my red Maranta here out of my plant room, and it looks weird now because it's like, I don't know, they kind of look like spiders until the morning, until they can like fold their arms back up. But it seems really happy in this spot, and I have a ton of new growth. That Maranta seems really happy. I have a ton of new growth on that one, and I have another lemon lime here, of course. So I have 3 Maranta. I have another little Maranta prop in there that I'm probably just going to add in, and then I have a Calathea that's struggling back there since flat mites. I have a big Tenanthe that's been happy and growing. This Syngonium Baltic, ever since I potted it, it's been very droopy and sad. So I think I'm just going to take a couple cuttings and chuck the rest because it's just not happy and it's very sad, and it makes me sad looking at it. All the leaves just want to keep yellowing, so it makes me think maybe the root system isn't happy. I just haven't like unpotted it to check it yet. I just don't think it likes the lower light levels that it's getting. And with the Hoya, I would say the ones that are directly under the light are doing the best. Like this Hoya, do you see all the new growth coming in? I have so much new red growth from being under. This is the 15-watt Sancy. So it seems really happy even though I moved it from the window. I am still treating this one and the Compacta for mealies. I don't know if my Shepherdii is that happy. I have some strands that are happy and doing well, but I have some strands that aren't happy and aren't doing well. So I'll probably like unpot this and take out the strands that aren't happy, and then just whenever it roots, I will just pot up the healthy strands. This one definitely took a bit of a hit. I have some new growth coming in on the Compacta too, like right there you can see. So this one's like pretty close to the light, I would say. This is the one that was in my plant room hanging that had a bunch of ants come in. And I do see some blooms that are coming back in on it because it's pretty close to the grow light. I'm gonna have to watch this one because I don't want ants coming in through this window. So once these blooms start opening, I don't know what I'm gonna do with that one. I just don't want ants to come in. And then I'm still worried about my Crimson Princess. I have this strand over here that's happy. You can see some new growth here, but it's on the green. I have a new strand here, it looks like, coming in, but a lot of the growth, well, I shouldn't say a lot. Some growth still seems unhappy. So I think if I come across another queen or another Crimson Princess, I'll probably buy it. And those two here on the bottom aren't getting much light, so they really haven't done much of anything. They're just kind of hanging there until the springtime, I guess. Here in the bathroom, these guys always are doing well. I don't have like any issues with these plants. I still need to repot my golden. I'm going to do that in the new year. And I need to upsize that Maranta, and I think that's it. I have a Calathea back there that is like browning and crisping all the leaves. It's still in the original mix, so it's like going dormant for some reason. So I'm just gonna let it go dormant, and then it should come back hopefully in the springtime. So I'm just gonna let it chill up there, and yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. That little Tenanthe is growing in a ton. Hey, Chai. And this Calathea here is coming in with some brown tips. So I don't know if it's just, I don't know. It probably needs a repot, honestly. I think it's been drying out too much. And of course my big lemon lime here, I am gonna be repotting it for the first time, I think, this spring too. All of my lemon limes, I haven't repotted 3 of them, so I definitely need to do that. It smells like Lacinosa in here now because the sun went down. It is so strong. But this is the top cut of my Monstera Stanleyana elbow. I just saved just the one cutting for me, and I chopped my huge pull up. This one has like pretty like variegation on it, so we'll see how it does. It wasn't rooted a ton, but it did have like one long root. So hopefully it continues to grow well. A lot of the white was browning, so I don't know. I just chopped up and saved what I could, and then I have a ton of propagations that I'm going to be getting rid of. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little update. My mouth is definitely feeling a bit dry. I'm going to go get something to drink, and yeah, I have a lot of plant care and stuff to do, but I'm excited to get get that other shelf set up and kind of like focus on some props and stuff for this winter. Now that I have like a lot of my chops done, I feel a little bit of relief. I still have some moss pole like maintenance to do, but it doesn't feel like as overwhelming, which is nice. I now just am feeling stressed with all the props that I have, because now from chopping them, I have a million more props. But that's okay. It'll give me a lot of like fun stuff to do this winter until spring to like get all the props and stuff organized. And then whenever my shop is up, I'll like start selling some of those, which will be nice to like downsize some of those. I do have a couple plants outside, some cacti succulents, and then the Dracaena and canna lily, but they seem to be doing okay, even though it's like been dropping to the low 30s. We've had frost for the last several mornings and they seem to be doing okay. But thank you for watching. I'll probably post this sometime towards like the last week of December, going into the new year. So if you're watching this after the holidays, I hope you had a good holiday and happy new year. And I wish you the best going into 2024 and you got some wish list plants for the holiday. But I really truly appreciate you guys for being here so much, and I look forward to next year and just everything with my plants. So thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys here soon.